Alright, well, welcome back. Uh, if you've only been watching the SCP series, then you probably wouldn't know this, but just recently came back from hiatus, so things might be a little different. Maybe it'll just be more of the same. We'll see. But it's been a while, and I'm glad to be back. So, as I do, I usually pull up a meme before we start the stream, with basically any stream. But I found this one, and I think this will be particularly hilarious to read. So let's actually zoom in and read the whole thing. The SCP Foundation iceberg. It already looks kind of fucking weird, but alright. Hold on, let me, How do I actually do this? Is it fit and then reset, or did I always have this wrong? I tried setting this up before and it seemed perfect, but yeah, I was gonna stream this yesterday and it was just way too cold. So, today's the day, as we say. Where the fuck is this? There it is. Okay, whatever. Let's just set it up like this. It's fine. So at the top of the iceberg, very, very tippy top, we got the O5. D-classer inmates. I'm actually going to have to pull this up separately because I can't quite see this too well. Good thing I downloaded this picture. At the tippy top, D-class are inmates. Group of interest. The factory. Classification by ease of containment. Multiple universes. Multiple cannons. Gate Guardian. Thaumiel. Undercover agents and private military funding. Okay, and that's just the tippy top of the iceberg. That's secure, contain, protect. Okay? Okay? We got, you know, little bit of Death Boy face, Plague Doctor. Just slightly below the surface of the iceberg. Damarung, the Administrator, 231 Bedtime Story. Reality Bending is Thaumaturgy. Okay, I can kind of see that one. I can agree with that one. 3 Portlands is the same type of alternate dimension as 4971. Okay. 000. Okay. Tooth Fairy. What? 001 is innocuous. Pattern Screamers. Apollyon. Explained. Dr. Isabel Helga Anastasia Parvati Wondertainment 5. Okay. Fucking Wondertainment shit. The Library of Alexandria. Okay. 3999 is 239. And 05 are immortal. Okay. Undercover agents and pirate military fighting. What does the pirate military have to do with this? Unless you're trying to say private military, which would make more sense. But I got the concept of pirate military is giving me a giggle. Okay, I think we need to, like, actually, yeah, I need to really transform this now. Sucks to suck, I guess. It's fine, we'll figure it out. Just hopefully it looks nice and legible for you. So, even further down, beyond Plague Doctor territory, we've got, is this 190, 170, no. Who's this guy again? Is this 147 or 167? I don't know. We had him at some point. I don't remember his actual number, but this is Shy Guy, I guess. With the big claw hands. That's what you read it as, okay. Alright, at Shy Guy territory, we got Sheaf of Papers is the database. Clef's Goat Daughter. I saw that one yesterday, and I was like, where the fuck does that even come from? But okay. Gathering of 100 spirits. 035 and the Jester. Artistic middle finger. Containment breach is a tail. Monthly termination feeds the factory. Pangloss. The Feaster Bunny. Chess players for the legalization of marijuana. Secret laboratory is canon. Memetic formatting. Okay. Mr. Lie talks about 055. UIU behind MK Ultra. That one is just okay. Like, fighting conspiracies with conspiracies on that one. The Ouroboros Cycle D. 407 is Yaldabaoth's voice. Sword of the Believer. The White Queen. Daleport in Temporal Loop. I like this one that 4chan leaks. Like, the SCP wouldn't be possible without 4chan leaking it. Hidden text. Unicorn hair and phoenix's feathers. Interesting. 05-13. Statewide narrative deterioration, which is quite interesting now that we've seen a few of those, like, the entire state of Utah is this SCP. Okay, that's the very bottom of the iceberg. What's below? What's below even the bottom of the iceberg? Oh, fuck. I don't know who this is. Is this like the terror dog, or I don't know. Looks like a dude in a fucking... He looks like he's about to pull out a wakizashi. This guy looks like he's got samurai armor or something, but I don't know, maybe that's one of those freaky dog SCPs. Below the iceberg, in the deep depths. Multiple narratives. Multiple apocalypses. All SCP-001 entries are real. Okay. The Foundation is real. Okay. You are not. Well, fuck. Anyway, that was that entire meme. I'm glad we could, enjoy that together, but anyway, let's get back into reading the wiki. As always, we start with a random one and then move on to sequential. So this is going to be 181 to 190. And before we do random, let's go ahead and catch up. What did we read last time? It's been probably actually 2 months since I've done this, so I don't even remember at this point. So that would mean 171, Collective Brain Foam. I remember now. The Gearman. The Sculpture, the original. Oh my god, please, no copyright. Don't post the image. Ventriloquist Dummy. Treasure Map. Observable Time Loop. That one was quite interesting. I liked how, like, fucking scientific and gamey it felt. It felt like a JoJo reference. Checkmate. 3D Specs. This one was also quite scary. The Soul-Susor. And, the Identity Thieving Hat, which was also quite creepy. We're moving on to Lucky. But let's first see that random SCP. Hopefully the website works, because last time I did this, I think, is when I had to, like, create my own canon. What? Ocular variant. What? That was a weird redirect, but okay. Let's see the entire page. Saw something about Alpha Oculus there. Doesn't look too long. Says to be continued. Alright. This one looks like just a create. Okay, so welcome back. To kind of fit the opening meme of this stream, which was actually last night's stream, you are not real. So, fake streamer moment. The first, 10 minutes here were rebroadcasted to you guys. And yeah, we're just gonna hop back right where we were. Oh, man. Really, it was just too cold last night, so it was just so fucking frozen. But yeah, we were on Ocular Variant, and we're gonna read Ocular Variant. So, I don't know what I was talking about right then and there, but I know we hit the quota. I'm right back where I wanted to be. So that was like the most important part. I've like deleted my previous universe self. There you go. There's the proof. Proof is in the pudding right there. So yeah, let's actually read this. Welcome back. This is the random article that we got, and then we're gonna read 181 to 190, I believe it is. Ocular cum. That's right. It's about your eyeballs are about to explode in sensory overload. All right. Welcome back. Ocular variant. Another place, another time. SCP-Alpha-Oculus-40_01. So that's 4 zeros. Element Alpha Oculus. Element Alpha slash... God... did I say slash? I meant hyphen. SCP-Alpha-Oculus-0000_01. Element Alpha-Oculus. Element class Amphisbean. Secrecy status. Reevaluation of status pending. Can you guys see this okay, by the way? I should probably scroll up just a little bit there. Again, it's a new resolution, so it's hard for me to tell. In fact, maybe I'll just do this from here on out. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Secrecy status, reevaluation of status pending. Priority, top _01, lunar dusk. Threat level, Vermilion _07, NOAA. Description, Alpha-Oculus, henceforth denominated the object, designates an extraterrestrial body of spheroid shape and gestalt, estimative volume 543.6 meters cubed, steadily orbiting Earth in a distance of 256,906.45 kilometers, parentheses, semi-major axis. Comprehensive physical data regarding the observable properties of Alpha Oculus's trajectory is contained in document... Let me reread that. Comprehensive physical data regarding the observable properties of Alpha Oculus's trajectory is contained in document _SCP-Alpha-Oculus-0000_01- what does this say? OT Earth Axis _230920004 period. That was a hard one to read, but okay. Let me just make sure I'm keeping this on the screen, because again, I'm stuck in 720p mode, so I can't like completely see exactly what I'm reading. Hopefully you guys can see it, is what I'm getting at. The object is presumed to have manifested via yet unknown and astrophysically unexplained means in its current unaltered orbit between 9:30 how am I gonna say this? Between 9:30 and 12 seconds AM and 10:12:44 seconds AM UTC on the 4th August 2004. Wow, this is taking me a second to get back into, huh? Yeah, penile overload. Penile overload. That's what the stream has been recently. Lots of fucking dick jokes. The actual manifestation / apparition of the object in question was not witnessed. The permanent and incessant observation of the object is the superior prime directive of the newly established multilateral / multinational UN principal organ SCPAE, henceforth referred to as SCP Foundation. Direct physical interaction between any human governmental / political entity outside the SCP Foundation and the object in question is to be prevented at all costs. The entative theory, concordant with all organizational divisions subsumed by the SCP Foundation, postulates that the object in question does not constitute a natural phenomenon and is of artificial and technological nature. The causative creator of the object in question is unknown, as well as its technical function and mode of operation. Download 17/04/2005 by ACD, is that a semicolon? ID semicolon 744. What the fuck does this say? Oh god, it's so hard to see. You get the point. Honestly, this feels like an eye test. Let me like fucking zoom in or something. It's so weird working in this particular resolution right now too. I'm so used to 1920 by 1080 completely. It looks like it says ACD ID. Let me get it again. 764-8593-8910. And below that, SCP-F_SCP-Alpha-Oculus-00001_01_OPD_1542005. Never thought I'd have like a weird number reading segment on this, but okay. Anyway. Let's go ahead and normalize. Get back into the swing of things with this, shall we? I mean, you guys had the treat of that whole iceberg meme at the beginning of this. You should expect a little bit of... a couple of hurdles here. A couple of hedgehog holes I fall into. Alright, let me catch up here. One sec. Okay. We should call it something else. Like what? Something... I don't know, something nicer. Alpha Oculus. That sounds cold, does it not? Scientific and lifeless. Well, everyone else calls it the Eye, don't they? Olkov said, scratching his scarred nose and saying the latest. One of far too many, report of the astronomy department aside. I mean, for us, for the Foundation, Alpha Oculus, the object... I think I'm just stressed from the conference, Alexander confessed, finally sitting down and accepting the glass Professor Gyosha handed him. What is this? Rakia, the professor said. Albanian brandy. Savor its flavor, Alexander. Disgusting, Olkov murmured and was interrupted by his own beeper. You guys got beepers? Sounds like your expertise is required yet again, Falk. Gyosha smirked as Olkov was running out of the office, nearly tripped over his own feet and began screaming through the floors. Unslip your shoes, bro, they're screeching. Gyosha shook his head and Alexander had a sip of the burning brandy. He wasn't a good drinker, Alexander, unlike the professor, who could consume alcohol and such stimulants like mere water. If you had survived What? If you had survived the Porayumos, Stalin, Tito, and Hoxha, simple distillate couldn't harm you anymore. What are these fucking alcohol names? There's a drink named the Stalin? Yuck. I'm gonna buy Omori for my friend, so if she doesn't play it, she'll feel bad. I'm evil, oh god. You know what, it's a gift, so at that point, she either needs to get you a gift back, or, you know, enjoy the game. Oh god, he died again. What are you talking about, me? Okay. There he goes, Olkov. There he goes, Olkov. I do not envy the physicists Alexander sitting all day and night, sitting in front of their huge telescopes, keeping their eyes on our little friend up there, Gyosha said, emptying his own glass in a single gulp and refilling it to the brim. You spend your own days sitting in this office. Yes, but I don't have to be on that damn thing over there, Gyosha replied, talking about the new, very expensive, and up-to-date personal computer he had so much trouble with. Yeah, it's running Windows 11, isn't it? How old was Gyosha? He must be far beyond 80 at this point, even though he did not look younger than 60. Hell, he even looked younger than my father, Alexander thought. But father had always looked old. He had been old... He had been born an old, bitter, jealous, and vitriolic man. I thought it said he had been born an old. Just that. I'm reminded of Tomatoes bit. Goddamn olds everywhere, fucking olds. But Father had always looked old. He had been born an old, bitter, jealous, and vitriolic man. And without him, I wouldn't be here, Alexander remembered. The Foundation wouldn't even have considered me if Father hadn't needed another useful, manipulatable chess piece in the biology department. Despite that, Alexander was no idiot. He had studied in Lancashire, Heidelberg, and Pasteur Institute, was an expert in microbiology and lichenology, and discovered several new species of extremophile archaea in the geysers of Iceland. After that, his career had come to an abrupt halt, though, just stopped and slackened until the fateful day a battalion of Foundation agents had abducted and kidnapped him, had brought him to their subterranean security site, and had told him all about the eye in the sky. "And what shall I do here?" he had asked. "What can I do for you?" "Thank you. Farewell for now." "You are an astrobiologist, aren't you? Make up some theories and write them down." It was tedious, boring, and stressful work Alexander had to fulfill for the Foundation. As an appointed astrobiologist, he was assumed to be an expert on extraterrestrial life, on alien civilizations and all that nonsense. But where to start? Create a list, O5 had told them, a framework to conceptualize and understand them. Develop some tiers and levels, just do something and the taxpayers won't complain. Countless hours had been wasted arguing and discussing with the other biochemists and evolutionary biologists about selfish genes, carbon chauvinism, silicon life, the nature of intelligence, and von Neumann probes, about aliens that were kinda human but not really human, aliens with no resemblance to anything remotely anthropomorphic, and aliens that humans couldn't even recognize as sapient or alive anymore. It was, Alexander had to be honest to himself, a whole lot of garbage. The list made no sense whatsoever and included far too many unknown variables and assumptions nobody could really work with. There was only one sapient species known to humanity, and with a sample size of n equals 1, how could you be expected to deliver useful results? And who knows what kind of intelligence was really behind the eye's creation? Swarms of nanites, sentient prokaryotes, Dyson sphere builders, an infinite parade of nescience and silly ideas. The Foundation was blind. They had only the eye and nothing else. It had been a disappointment to learn and realize that nobody had known. No secret cults, no hidden mysterious organization awaiting their coming. The eye had just appeared one day, gazing down on planet Earth, and nothing else had happened since then. Well, the Foundation had been formed, and despite their best attempts, a whole lot of outsiders had become aware of their alien neighbor in the sky above, which was fairly small, but still big enough to be detected with simple means. What is this, like the Black Knight satellite that we're talking about here? Alright. Alexander had spent numerous meetings getting briefed about their newest enemies, Serpent's Hand and Chaos Insurgency, and other idiotic clubs and organizations, founded by panic-fueled maniacs and conspiracy theorists in their misguided attempts to restore a world that was long gone, a world that had known no extraterrestrial signs of life. There were an unseen number of them, too many to remember and comprehend, and each day they became more and more. At some point, the veil, as O5 called it, must break down inevitably. There was no other way. Like the Veil of Maya. There were already enough rumors and leaks on the internet, out on the streets and alleyways, even extensive details surrounding the top-secret Project Icarus, the manned space flight to the eye. We still doing good on, like, alignment here? Let me see. I'll read it from OBS for the time being as well. Actually, no, we're fine. Project Icarus was something everyone in the Foundation was anxious about. It was to be the first direct physical interaction between a real living human being and an It was to be the first... He's back. It was to be the first direct physical interaction between a real living human being and an extraterrestrial artifact. More than 100 adequate candidates were currently undergoing a hellish physical training somewhere in this giant facility, sweating blood and tears in the hope to be the first human in history to reach the eye, touch its magnificent, perfectly round and chatoyant metalish surface, to become a hero of ages. Touch its magnificent, perfectly round and chatoyant metallic... How can I not say this? Touch its magnificent, perfectly round and chatoyant I can't! Touch its magnificent, perfectly round and chatoyant metalish surface to become a hero of ages. And to gain some scientific knowledge, of course. It's all about the legend. The legend never dies. Just saw Omori Gore Rule 34. I am disgusted. Yeah, the internet do be like that sometimes. Hey, you know, if you don't want to see it again or something, put a blocker on your browser or something, you know. There's always ways to avoid weird shit on the internet. The Foundation didn't know much about the eye as of yet. They knew that it was indeed a satellite intended for observation. According to Dr. Gears, its enormous lens was strong enough to differentiate between single grains of sands and weeds of grass. They further had discovered that the eye's hull was crafted from a formerly unknown alloy of rare metals and exotic isotopes, and one of the astronomers had told Alexander that a single gram of this composition was worth more than all the gold and money in Fort Knox, my friend. Apart from that, nothing. Thousands of unanswered questions, may they be of philosophical or physical nature. How did they do it? What transcendental cosmological force did Etai, the extraterrestrial, technologically advanced intelligence, utilize and applied to send their satellite eye to Earth? And what are they capable of besides this? What are their bombs, their tanks, weapons, and spaceships capable of, their armies and drones? A popular theory regarding their means of faster-than-light transportation addressed a cannon-like apparatus which literally shot objects like Alpha Oculus through some unseen higher plane of space-time reality. But a machine like this must surely be of gigantic proportions, a humongous, titanic mechanism, dwarfing cities and mountains alike, consuming appalling quantities of energy. Strem dead? Just refresh. Let me look. Yeah, we're at our common upload percentage. It's just in and out. Give it some time, it'll come back. Just try and refresh if it freezes. His head started to spin, and he took another sip of the professor's brandy. This just tastes horrible, Alexander proclaimed, and Professor Gyosha. This just tastes horrible. I'm not even looking at it. This just tastes horrible, Alexander proclaimed, and Professor Gyosha rolled his eyes. Your dear father did take a liking, though. Alexander frowned, looked at his half-full glass of Albanian brandy, and said, my father fancies nothing. What the fuck is this word? Shkelkim. Shkelkim. My father fancies nothing. Shkelkim. There is not enough in him to feel something like enjoyment or regalement. Hard words from his only beloved son. I'm not his only son, Alexander retorted and finally emptied his glass, ignoring the awful, sickening taste of the foreign liquid Gyosha had gifted him with. Alexander remembered a past conversation he had with one of Gyosha's assistants about the Albanian law of blood and vengeance. The Qanun, from which Gyosha had fled to a distant country, abandoning his name and provenance to escape violence and atrocity. The distant country had been Russia, though, and Gyosha had to bow to the Stalinist tyranny in order to survive. And Gyosha had to bow to the Stalinist tyranny in order to survive. To be able to study and learn in Volgograd. Becoming a well-renowned sociologist, a polymath, a genius among his kind. Until the communists had decided to remove and eliminate him as well, for reasons unbeknown. Gyosha had wasted half his life escaping death, famine, sickness, and human abhorrences, and now he was here old and still breathing, while his own enemies and persecutors had been reduced to dust, bones, and ash. An alien eye was glaring in the heavens, and the arms department had started the construction of the greatest nuclear weapon humanity would ever set eyes on. You know SCP-AE, Research Group 05, Lean, L-I-N-N-E. Element, UNO SCP-AE Division. Element Class, None. Secrecy Status, V-12. Location, Site-0001. Respective Department, Theoretical Astrobiology, X506. Or is that an S? X306, SS06? I don't know. I can't see it that well. Research Assignment, Theoretical Conceptualization of Extraterrestrial Biological Societies. Group Supervisor, Shkelkim Gurgig Ekrem Gyosha, ID 7648593461. Group Leader, Alexander Carter Dark, ID 76485938910. Downloaded 18/04/2005 by error_unknown-user-identification_error. SCPF_RG05_RG catalog. This seems like a Meta 05 reference. To be continued, and it's just listed under tail for tags. That was quite interesting. I felt a connection between many links within the Foundation with this one, ocular variant. And also as the name describes, it helped me test my fucking eyes a little bit too. Because, like I've said before, to save power, I'm using my Pico projector as opposed to my TV. Saves a lot of battery power. But yeah, it's a little hard to see some smaller point fonts. Anyway, let's move on to sequential. It's back to 181. And like I said, this is going to be 181 to 190. Sociologist. You got that right. Head of the sociology department. Alright, let's scroll this one quickly. Again, I might have said it, or it might have just been part of the part that I cut off. I don't know. My mouse is kind of suck right now because it's cold. But damn, dude, I went to Habitat for Humanity. I got a fucking love seat. And I got a gigantic chest. Boob joke, amazing chest ahead. Not titties, lol. Not a rack, but like a king's chest. You know, like a fucking loot chest, loot crate. I got a fucking loot crate. So it was quite the struggle to fit them through my back door into my house. But you know, it worked out in the end. I got a shitload of exercise out of it. And you know what? My home is upgraded now. Did we disconnect from the internet? No? What? Okay, apparently I am online, but... No. No, no, no. It was in the middle of disconnecting. Or maybe isn't? What the fuck? Every time, bro. Every time. How many times am I gonna have to record the same stream, lol? Give me a second. I probably just have to reset everything. Alright, do that. Do this. Hit this button a couple of times. Press this button, press that button. Hopefully that'll reconnect me, and I just need a connection. See some local Wi-Fi connections I could maybe log into. Hacker man, you know? Fucking hack in with delete codes. Yeah? Alright, give me a second. Let me get back online. Seems it's about time for me to fiddle fuck around with the internet again. Yeah, give me a second. Okay. We're finally back. Just having a time over here, dude. Coughing, sneezing. Alright. Let's get back into this. God damn. This is how it ended last time. Internet just refused to reconnect. This time, seems we're good. Alright. 181. Item number 181. Object class safe. Special containment Special containment procedures. Strike through. 181 lives in the Class D personnel dormitories on Bioresearch Area 12. 181 is, for all intents and purposes, a Level 0 clearance personnel, knowing vaguely the nature of the SCP without any sensitive information having been revealed. Researchers and surveillance staff are reminded to not single 181 out of his Class D group. 181 is to be 181 is to be rotated to a new dorm once a month instead of regulation Class D termination. What? They terminate D-Class monthly or something? 181 is not to be submitted to any new or Keter classified SCP testing sessions on strike-through. Okay. Memo to all staff. In light of recent discoveries re SCP-181's anomalous properties, 181 has been transferred to Site-27-blank and placed in solitary confinement. All staff are ordered to take the fullest possible precautions when operating within the site. 181 is not to be allowed interaction with site personnel beyond the bare minimum to ensure survival and security. Dr. Knucklebone. Are you fucking kidding me? This motherfucking knuckle dragger's name is Dr. Knucklebone? What? It's like the RuneScape Quest NPC Dr. Gracklebone. What the fuck are we talking about? Are we talking about the same thing here? Alright. What the fuck? Anyway. Description. G blank O blank formerly LVD-87465 had been incarcerated for repeated offenses of defrauding the Nevada Gaming Commission. Following the 18th month of his life sentence, he was quietly moved to Arm Reliquary Containment Area 2, where he was initiated and assigned a Level D clearance. His first exposure experiment was with SCP-blank, and the results were bloody but expected. When LVD-65468 was exposed to SCP triple blank, he rampaged and killed those in the room, but 181 was spared when an armed response team put down LVD-65468. Let me reset the internet for the 986 billionth time. I don't know why that's a problem. I guess it's snowing right now, but it seems stable enough. I don't know why it's shitting its pants. Excuse me, YouTube viewers, it's only Twitch that has to put up with this part, I guess. But we'll see, hold on. Just give me 10 more seconds, I guess. Oh, did I tell you I got a Hello Kitty wall scroll? Yeah. It's Hello Kitty watching the fireworks as a wall scroll. Yeah. I just randomly found a wall scroll at Goodwill, and I'm like, what is this? I didn't want to fully unravel it, and I couldn't see a price on it anywhere, so I was like, it's small enough, I might as well just buy it and I'll fucking hang it up regardless of what it is. What is it? A Hello Kitty wall scroll. It looks like fucking New Year's. She's sitting there in her kimono with a fan. And I don't know what it says, but it's definitely a Hello Kitty wall scroll. There's some fireworks in the background. Anyway, yeah, we're back on Twitch finally. Where were we? 181 was included into an experiment with 075, which we've read before, the week following the incident with SCP triple blank. It was during this test that 181's unnatural effect on probability was discovered. When placed in the containment chamber with an activated 075 to measure its speed and reflex time, 181 managed to avoid 075 a total of 3 times before suppression teams refroze 075. So this guy's some probability manipulation magician-looking ass dude, huh? Alright. Having survived not 1 but 2 Keter-class exposure experiments, 181 was a statistical anomaly. It would be his 3rd week and full 7 days of survival with 082 that prompted Dr. G. blank D. blank to investigate. It was Dr. G. blank D. blank's hypothesis that 181 was generating these statistical anomalies without his knowledge. After nearly flipping 50 heads on a coin, rolling 25 sevens on a pair of dice, and pulling all 12 hearts out of a standard deck of playing cards, Dr. G. blank D. blank got executive permission to experiment with SCP triple blank. After rolling 19 green circles and succeeding in recreating 4 classical masterpieces of varying art forms, 181 rolled SCP triple blank again. As the object came to rest on the red triangle, the facility experienced a tremor caused by an incident with 216, and triple blank fell on a green circle. Dr. G. blank D. blank then reclassified LVD-87465 as 181, sparing him from the routine monthly termination of Class D personnel. Well, that's a new one. I didn't know Class D were terminated monthly. That's fucking freaky. Yikes. 181 shows signs of affecting the causal probability around him by no will of his own. However, tests show that efforts to remove as much chance from an event as possible reduce 181's effect on the event. Okay. So yeah, he's like a probability magician. Addendum 1-A-07X blank. As of single blank / 20 double blank, 181 has been transferred and security protocols tightened. It was discovered by Dr. Blank in a recent audit that overall death and injury rates for Bioresearch Area 12 had increased in the time of 181's confinement by nearly... That is a very fucking big number. Percent. Parentheses. triple blank %. Okay. So basically, this guy was causing people to die by coincidence at such exceeding volume that he just he broke probability. Okay, bro. Phone internet. Can you, like, fucking work for once? This is like all YouTube internet. YouTube internet, I say. This is all YouTube VOD. Come on, at least some of it go up on Twitch. Come on now. We back online? I have to, like, restart the stream, but, you know. Start streaming. We good now? Alright, we're back on Twitch once again. Hopefully the connection's just slightly better, I guess. I put the quote-unquote router, the iPhone, in the spot where it usually seems to be fine, so hopefully it stays stable. Who knows, it could just be the weather right now, but okay. It is theorized that 181's anomalous properties affect probability by data expunged. Chaos theory states that the potential effects of such interference could lead data expunged worldwide scale. Further information is available only to personnel with clearance levels of 4 and above, due to the possibility of further redacted. Alive, humanoid, probability, rewrite, safe, sapient, sentient. This guy sounds fundamentally dangerous to all of space-time. Sounds like he drops a coffee mug in some Starbucks. In reality, just turns into fucking purple mode or something, you know? This also cross-links to 2.16. I'm probably not gonna read this one, to tell you the truth, but I'll just quick scroll it for you really quick if you want to, like, pause the VOD or, yeah, pause the stream, whatever. This seems to be related to this and the previous one, and there's an audio log? Well, I'll come back to this one at some point. I'm not concerned about it. Let's move on to 182. 182. Which cross-links to 682. Oh, no. Oh, fuck. We got 682 zone again. Alright. Sure. Okay. Let's get it. 182. Hey, welcome back. I hope we're still on the internet, and I hope, you know, those of you that have stuck around while I've disconnected and reconnected to Twitch like 6 times are still enjoying the stream. YouTube audience is like, hey, I've just been watching from the playlist. I don't give a fuck. Hey, I hope everyone's enjoying. Alright. 182. Item number 182. Object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. 182 is to be kept in a small environmentally sealed structure on an otherwise uninhabited island situated 10 kilometers off of the coast of Greenland. A team of 5 guards are to be assigned to guard the subject at all times. Guards are to be examined for psychological damage once per month. Guards who show any signs of damage are to be recalled from their post and are required to undertake a full course of psychiatric therapy prior to returning to duty. Duty. No single individual is to spend more than 6 months at a stretch on 182 guard duty, and are required to spend a minimum of 3 months on a different assignment before returning. This sounds pretty standard for the Foundation. Personnel are entitled to refuse this assignment if they have already spent a total of 8 months or more on the island. 182 has requested to be kept under heavy sedation for 20 hours per day. Following Incident 182-7, this privilege has been revoked. I think I've read this one before. Maybe back in the old 4chan days of SCP? I don't know. Description: 182 is a Caucasian male of average build, roughly 45 years of age, and has suffered heavy abdominal and cranial scarring at an unspecified point in the past, by subject's own admission, shortly before he was admitted into the care of the Foundation in 19 double blank. 182 is both deaf and mute, compensating for these disabilities with natural abilities. 182 has displayed the ability to passively enter the minds of other animals, including humans, and to perceive sight and sound through their senses, in effect, riding as a passenger in their minds. This has no consistent effect on personnel, and some guards have rotated on and off on a regular basis for the past double-blank years without detrimental effects. However, prolonged exposure to 182's passive sensory borrowing results in vivid visual and auditory hallucinations in 90%. However, prolonged exposure to 182's passive sensory borrowing results in God. This one sounds very familiar. It's the concept of warging. If you watch Game of Thrones, I guess. Which is so weird as a name, by the way, because warg is totally a different thing, but whatever. However, prolonged exposure to 182's passive sensory borrowing results in vivid visual and auditory hallucinations in 97% of humans and 100% of non-human test subjects. The effects in question vary widely in severity, but continued exposure after the onset will inevitably result in mental collapse, with said mental breakdown being hastened by proximity to 182. 182 has displayed the ability to consciously force hallucinations upon his guards when under duress, and as such it is advisable that subjects known to agitate 182 be avoided, including mention of 076-2, 682, and 182's own past prior to acquisition by the Foundation. Termination of affected personnel is recommended if they cannot distinguish between the hallucinations and reality, as all subjects allowed to reach such a point have invariably broken down, with brain death or permanent catatonia being the only possible outcomes. 182 cannot control this ability with any appreciable degree of skill, and automatically sees and hears the perceptions of any living animals within 10 meters. Subject can focus on specific directions outside of that range, but cannot ride the senses of beings further away from it than 30 meters. I'm sure you only saw part of that. I'm gonna scroll up for a second. Okay, we're good. Let's move back down. 182 additionally manifests the ability to project its thoughts into the mind of any individual whose senses it rides. This mental speech is the only known source of information about the subject, and has been described by guards as akin to being spoken to by a small human between their ears. 182 exhibits no mimetic or telepathic hazard stemming from this speech, though subjects report that his voice is always a component in these hallucinations. So it's just another school of telepathy, basically. Another way of looking at telepathy. Addendum 182-1, 182 claims that the incident that resulted in the loss of its speech and hearing also manifested its telepathic talents. It is not presently clear whether this was a deliberate goal of the torturer subject was subjected to, or whether the apparently life or death situation caused previously suppressed powers to manifest. It's like near-death experience, power awakening event, maybe. Questioning in this vein is to be discouraged, as 182 has become agitated in the past and has successfully attempted to accelerate the rate of mental breakdown in his handlers, resulting in double-blank casualties during the first questioning. So he's quite powerful. Addendum 182-2, it has been suggested that 182 be used as a translator with other SCPs who appear capable of thought but not of communication. Given the side effects of proximity to 182, this request has been denied. Yeah, make it talk to 173.
Me wanna just snap necks all the time, lol. Why me hug snap necks all the time?
It's all you'd get out of it. Incident Report 182-7. Audio report recovered from guardhouse. Voice identified as Agent Blank. Recorded double blank / single blank / 19 double blank. Yeah, so we got the letter this morning from 05 saying the sedation was approved. Dr. Blank went out to tell 182. Guy seemed pretty happy, clapping his hands and everything, like a little kid. Shot him up, he was out like a light. Slept a few hours. Then Dr. Blank went in to check on him. Make sure he was still breathing. Don't want a casualty, yeah? Anyway, I'm in the other house. We'd got up a good game of 21 when I hear Doc screaming his lungs out. Something about spiders or what? Following this, the tape records 7 gunshots. Audio analysis indicates... Following this, the tape records 7 gunshots. Audio analysis indicates they were fired at a point above and to the left of the microphone. God damn it, we thought Doc had finally cracked. He'd been seeing little things out of the corner of his eye for a few days. We figured 182 had got to him. We drew straws to see who would have to go get his body. Agent J blank blank drew the short straw. Guy was fresh out here, just been assigned last week. Damn it, I should have gone instead. J blank's screams started a few minutes later. Everyone got up at this point. We started walking out there. Snow everywhere. Should have transferred out of here before... Another 8 gunshots are heard, followed by repeated clicking. Subsequent sounds determined to be the replacement of an empty magazine. Ugh. These things... We gotta... These things. We got to the house where 182 was. He was lying on the bed, looked dead to the world. 30, maybe 35 feet away, J blank and Doc were sitting on the floor, drooling. Well, Doc was. J blank was dead. Blood oozing out of his mouth. Looked like he had bit his own tongue off. All 3 of us knew what had happened. I started to see things. I ran. I don't know about the other guys. I'm holed up in the building, gonna wait for the boat to arrive. Hope I can hold off long enough. This is literally like a fucking Gordon Freeman segment. This is Freeman's Mind 3. Audio recording continued for 17 minutes. Intermittent screams and gunshots can be heard, as well as a door opening twice. I've seen what happens to those guys that go too far. I'm not ending up like that. I'm not gonna see those things. Bye. A gunshot is heard. Tape records 2 hours of silence. The bodies of Agents Blank and Blank were found inside the door, shot by Agent Blank. Agent Blank was found next to the recorder, a bullet lodged in his skull. So he committed suicide. I'm assuming they were turned into like fucking hallucinatory telepathic zombies and they're coming to get him, basically. Conduits for 182. They wanted to bring him closer so he could become, another part of the Borg hive mind. Final incident report. Subsequent questioning of 182 by replacement personnel revealed that subject suffered from horrible, unworldly nightmares while sedated. Subject displayed elevated levels of stress during interview, and it is theorized that the nightmares experienced by 182 caused enough emotional distress that subject unconsciously created a radius of heightened hallucinatory territory. Subject is henceforth to be denied all sleeping aids. Alive, Euclid, humanoid, mind-affecting, rewrite, sapient, sentient, telepathic. Let's move on to 183. This one did seem extremely familiar. I'm not totally sure if I've seen it, read it before, seen it before, heard it before, I don't know. But it was fun. It was a good read. If not, it seems very similar to something I've read before on here. Alright, here's 183 really quick. As always, I just scroll through it if you're scared of jump scares, or you'd rather have a video where each SCP is listed but don't want to listen to my voice. You want to pause it or something? I don't know. You do what you want. Said you can do whatever you like. Hey, we're finally, like, stable back on Twitch. Finally. Thank God. Alright, 183, item number 183, object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. 183's container must be soundproofed and lined with heavy steel plate. Size of the container is unimportant, as 183 has no apparent preference and will use as much space as it is given. Personnel are strongly advised to avoid entering the container. This is pointless and exceedingly dangerous, and any desire to do so may be indicative of hitherto unobserved psychological capabilities of 183's song, parentheses see below. Openings in the container are to be small and brief, preferably exclusive to feeding purposes. Okay, sure. The organism has shown no real desire to escape, but should this occur, it could quickly render the entire research environment impassable and potentially quite dangerous. 183's song has been described as pleasant, and as long as no subliminal effects are observed, researchers are permitted to keep the chamber's embedded microphones active if they wish. I always love whenever it gets to the Phantasy Star Online music part of the stream. It's always like, we're coming back. We're finally in the Foundation. Future space acquired. Description: 183 is an unknown... Wait, no I didn't. What? Description: 183 is an unknown biological entity that is, for all intents and purposes, invisible. Evidence of its existence comes mainly in the form of monofilament wires, which the organism apparently synthesizes. These fibers are extremely thin and durable. They are capable of slicing through soft tissue, bone, and even body armor with very little force. This sounds like a badass fucking villain or superhero. Coupled with the difficulty of seeing them, this constitutes a serious hazard to all personnel within the container. Organic material left within the container disappears at a rate of approximately 4 kilograms per day, an indication that the organism is omnivorous. The wires synthesized by 183 are unique in human appearance. Tests indicate that they may be a form of carbon nanotube. They appear frequently and almost instantly, strung taut between walls, ceiling, and floor in no apparent pattern, forming a convoluted razor-sharp tangle. This may be analogous to a spider's web, a trap to capture food. Small animals in the chamber are left alone until killed by their own movement. If they are non-fatally injured by the wires, 183 will consume any severed body parts but will not attack the animal itself until it is dead. Individual fibers vanish after several hours. Our working theory is that they eventually lose their adhesive properties and fall to the floor to be consumed and recycled by 183. This is a remarkably efficient SCP object. Interestingly, 183 plucks its wires in a distinctly musical pattern, producing a surprisingly complex and euphonic... Euphonic? Okay. Interestingly, 183 plucks its wires in a distinctly musical pattern, producing a surprisingly complex and euphonic melody, which is reproducible on the comic... Jesus fucking Christ. Interestingly, 183 plucks its wires in a distinctly musical pattern, producing a surprisingly complex and euphonic melody, which is reproducible on the common pentatonic scale. The limited number of notes suggests that the wires are produced at discrete lengths and tensions, possibly indicative of high intelligence. This may be designed to lure in every sentence with this one. This may be designed to lure in prey. Attempts at playing back the tune or others in the same key have produced no observable changes in activity, suggesting that it is not intended for communication. Current research on 183 aims to reverse engineer the organism's monofilament wires and to ascertain the mechanism of its invisibility. This thing almost sounds like JoJo Part 6 Stone Ocean Stone Free Stand. Acoustic, autonomous, Euclid, intangible, musical, predatory. This thing's fucking cool. It just sounds like something from a comic book. And goddamn, here we are, we're back again. Back again with my all-time favorite, holy fuck, 184, holy shit. So here's 184, if you haven't seen it before. This is classified as an alternate 001, basically. I love this thing. We've talked about it before, and I'm kind of curious if anything else we run into tonight is going to have an image, because otherwise this is just going to be a repeat stream. But it is a polygon that has circles at each endpoint, and it has either a mirror on each face or it is see-through. There's just a flat plane surface beneath it, which looks honestly like a glass slide or maybe just a table. And it is just like a black metallic object, which is quite anomalous looking, honestly. Let's do the scroll through, and I think I'm probably going to read everything for this one, but hold on, let me peek really quick. Let's go ahead and peek ahead. Okay, we do have other stuff that has images, so that's fine, that's fine. I mean, we'll just kind of play it by ear with this one, because this one's a fucking banger, dude. This one's fucking insane. I didn't spend a lot of time describing the image because, again, we've seen this before and it's fairly fundamental looking anyway. 184, item number 184, object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. 184 is not to be contained in any structure. 184 is to be attached to a high-power electromagnet at all times. Should the electromagnet fail, agents are to report to SCP-184's containment area and prevent access to all unauthorized personnel until the electromagnet is restored to power. The containment area for 184 is currently configured to resemble a park, with 184 and its containment magnet disguised as statuary. Any and all visitors are to be monitored. God, every time I read this, it just makes me think of the City of the Saved. And Compassion 5, the Type 102 TARDIS. Just makes me think of Doctor Who TARDIS logic in general, but I probably talked about this ad nauseum the last time I read this. Maybe we just do the quick read-through for this one then. I think I read every antecedent article. Like, this is the Hong Kong link. Yeah, this is the truth. Wait, what? E-dash? Yeah. That's the true one, where they take off in the ship that's based off of 184, which even more so makes me think of TARDISes. But anyway. Any structures affected by 184 are to be demolished after review by data expunged, which leads to the committee that recovered the tape of the time-space travelers who rode in a ship that was created by this. And the anomaly that they encountered was infinite universe complexity, but it was just the same seed galaxy over and over. So they had like spaghetti and meatball Earth, razor blade Mercury, glass Pluto, etc. Fucking zombie computer Earth. Final demolition approval or inclusion into SCP will also be determined by this body. No investigation is to be done into affected structures without approval and a rescue team on standby. Description: 184 is a small, smooth, metallic object, 10 centimeters (4 inches) tall, and 10 centimeters (4 inches) wide, in the shape of a dodecahedron. Oh, I was gonna say that, but whatever. It's a dodecahedron, 12-sided. Each face of the figure has a circular hole in the center, and a small sphere is attached to each vertex. 184 is made of an unknown but highly magnetic alloy, about as hard as brass. When inside an enclosed structure, 184 expands the structure's inner dimensions without altering its outer dimensions. So TARDIS, bigger on the inside. 184 will increase the inner dimensions of any enclosed structure by several hundred meters each day, beginning 1 hour after entry into the structure. Initially, 184 only extends the walls out, causing rooms to become much larger without adjusting the height of the room. This expansion continues until the original dimensions of the room have been tripled. So again, this does have logic, but it becomes insane the longer you leave it in there. Literally, probably logically insane. At this point, 184 starts creating wholly new rooms. 184 is apparently able to copy items from inside the structure, creating furnished rooms consistent with the rest of the structure. After a period of time, however, the expansion process appears to break down. For example, items will be made from inappropriate materials. Parentheses, glass books, a wooden microwave. Rooms will be oddly shaped. Doors will open into blank walls, and hallways will be tiny or twist back around in long mazes. The new inside structures continue to be more and more odd, while the outside remains unchanged. Again, very fucking TARDIS logic. Excuse my French. Pardon my French. This behavior is most dramatically illustrated in homes. However, it has been observed in other instances, including a cardboard box. The changes do not go away with the removal of 184, but no additional structures are created. So it's permanent, regardless of whatever it's contained in. Addendum 1841. Notes from Dr. Blank. I don't think I need to stress the fact that this thing can never be allowed into Site-19. We may need to look into different containment at some point, but for the time being we will keep it in the open, immovable, and hidden. Addendum 1842, Location of Interest. 1842, Locations of Interest. It is currently hypothesized that 184 or an anomaly with similar effect may be responsible for the creation of locations of interest such as Backdoor Soho and Chogoku Cellar. So, I think we've talked about these. I'll save them for the end if I haven't read them on stream, but I'm pretty sure... I know I've read Backdoor Soho on my own time, which is where this object was retrieved from. It's, basically, imagine Hong Kong's walled city. I forget what it's called, but it's been since demolished. Infinite. An infinite version of that. And then the Chogoku Cellar. I don't know. I might have read that. I'm not sure. I think it's a continuation of the Soho version. So I'll think about it, but let's read the main article and move on sequentially first. Investigation into 184 as a potential origin for these spaces is ongoing. Addendum 184-38R8. Or is that B? Is that the letter B? No, that's 8. Is that B? I can't fucking tell. Addendum 184-38RB or 38R8. Notes on recovery. 184 was recovered in the Kowloon walled city in June of quadruple blank. That's what it's called, Kowloon. Reports of the city's bizarre and explosive growth attracted operatives who soon learned of 184 held in the possession of data expunged. After several police crackdowns, Mobile Task Force Zeta-9 was dispatched and recovered 184 with minimal losses. The final effect of exposure to 184 on both the city and inhabitants may never fully be understood due to the reckless actions of local law enforcement, which destroyed several affected sections of the city before operatives could take action to prevent it. Interviews with residents yielded minimal information, with a communal wall of silence being the major response. A few documents indicated that 184 could be brought into a home and allowed to effect. God, I'm fucking brain damaged trying to read this. A few documents indicated that 184 could be brought into a home and allowed to affect the dwelling for £50 sterling per half hour. These documents were unconfirmed by residents. Addendum 184-38RBS or 38R8S. Additional documentation. Personal log of Gordon Richards, member of Mobile Task Force Zeta 9, the Mole Rats. Which I think this one is also related to the Kowloon incident. Euclid featured metallic polyhedral spacetime. Let's click on to 185 and let's see. It's alternate character interpretations. So, you know what? For the sake of at least 184's article itself, let me see what we have here. And let me just slowly scroll through it in case you want to read any of this stuff paused. Yeah, it's quite a bit to read. But again, it's the history of... Wow. Much sheep. So cool. Why is there Doge meme in this? Oh no. Oh fuck. What have we done? What have we created? One tag says, are we cool yet? Alright, this one's called Making a Scene. A continuation of Nothing Says Promotion, like a bag over your head. This one also cross-links to something. What is this? This cross-links to SCP-2537. Just in case you're curious what that link is. Again, we're just scrolling these. I don't know if I really want to read all of this. Termites and ants. And blade wood. So again, in sequence, these links here are that's 831, 671, and 143. Again, just scrolling these in case you want to pause and read it. I think I'm gonna skip these. As fun as this could be, dude, I think let's just keep doing sequential stuff. Okay, and then we have Alden. Which links to Learning the Alphabet Hub. Interesting. Apathy is a hell of a drug. That sounds like me right now. And it also links to Organic Organs, but I can't click it. Never. Okay. Yeah, I'm curious about this other page here again, really quick. Learning the Alphabet Hub. It's been discontinued. Click here. Okay. I don't know. Okay, so I guess the alphabet might be like an alphabetical series. That's kind of cool. Interesting. I forget the term. And here's personal log of Gordon Richards. Again, Kowloon Walled City for 184 SCP object. Yeah. Alright, let's move on. Love this Metroid music. Okay, 185. I actually have to go pee really quick. It's like unbearable how fucking bad I have to pee. So let's look at this while I'm gone. Hello? Keyboard? There we go. Let's look at this while I'm gone, and also I'm gonna take a whiz. I know, it's so fucking vile that I'm talking about piss. Be right back. Okay, I have returned with my new sofa love seat and also my Galaxy tapestry and my Hello Kitty wall scroll. Yeah, welcome back. This is 185. The image for 185... 105 MB2YY4.jpg, or is that a K? 9? What? 9, okay. Whatever. 105 MB2YY9.jpg. Whatever this is, it looks like either a interesting radio panel thing with instructions. It could be some sort of like generator power control. It could be one of those Reddit /r/VX enthusiast rigs. Like maybe this is some fucking meta future science bullshit where none of it makes sense, but it all makes perfect sense to the one mathematician who makes it. Like fucking quantum computer concept. I don't know. It's got a lot of knobs and dials and fucking whizzy whammy wham wham wazzles and VU meters and fucking connectors and spinny dials and I don't know. There's a whole instruction panel on the left hand side. It's like it looks like either a black sticker with white writing or a metal placard with white etching. And then there's another placard above it, probably just to like electrically cover all of this. Behind whatever this main unit in the foreground is, it looks like there's a woman with a nice Hime cut hair, or, you know, princess style cut hair. Orange redhead hair. It looks like she might be taking a picture from a mirror perspective, or maybe that's just a person looking over here. Behind the foreground as well, whatever this box thing is, this electro-technology VX object, looks like maybe there is a camera? I don't know, it looks like there's a flash function back there, but that stuff's hard to see. To the left of the VX object, I like calling it this, because it's not VX enthusiast. What the fuck is it? Hold on, let me pull it up for you really quick. It's VX Junkies. This shit is fucking hilarious looking. Let me see if I can find something that fits the bill on exactly what the fuck this is. It's like the turbo encabulator. There you go. There you go. The turbo encabulator. This is, if you know what the turbo encabulator meme is, that's this entire subreddit. I know it's just a model, but Jesus Christ, the thermonucleators are reversed, And the D prionifier is in the wrong place. This is dangerous misinformation. People die from prionic radiation. And then it's like, what the fuck is this? What is it? Is it like a cyberfish? Is some fucking quantum spaceship object? Let's see, let me find another one. Oh yeah, and then a bunch of people are like, oh god, this is like the schizo subreddit, it feels like sometimes. Are we being serious? I can't tell if you're all playing a joke on me or not. Are we seriously using triple analytic harmonic inducers? Come on, guys. A single AHI is more than overkill for 99% of you. Let me find the next turbo encabulator. Here it is. I'm using this dielectric proton manipulator instead of my dielectric semi-isolator. Will this cause long-term damage to my module? You understand what the fuck I'm talking about? This is the fucking electro-turbo encabulator we're looking at right here. I think we've discovered the turbo encabulator SCP. Looks like we're at like a flea market. This is on some standard military-grade table. And this is for sale for $0. It's 25 cents. Some fucking quantum time travel object. It looks like either there's a box to the left behind it, or that's another panel on the side of this one, but it definitely looks like it's further in the background. We got like a wire on the table, maybe a garbage bag, some more bullshit from the flea market on the right side, maybe like a gigantic camera from 1920 the size of a fucking suitcase. Above it, like a clip thing, I think, for the turbo encabulator time travel flux capacitor. Top right, there's like some tubes or something. This is really time travel equipment or something. There's just some miscellaneous bobs and baubles, maybe even like a fucking American flag keychain, I don't know. Above the turbo encabulator in the background, I don't know what that is. Maybe like a metal beam or structure or something. It definitely looks like a flea market because there's like some tarp on the outside. Again, a lady's face. And then in the background, we got like corner of a white building or something, like a parking structure. Maybe this is like a homeless man selling retro turbo encabulators. Time traveling homeless man, murder hobo. And in the distance it looks like a fucking closed down gas station. Again, with another silver tarp over it. I don't know what this is. This thing right here, whatever the fuck this is right in the background, that's like a beep, 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 beep. That's one of those things you hear at 4 a.m., but you don't know what it is. But it's not a forklift either. It's like some fucking alien, crypto alien replacement. Okay, whoo! That entire segment was just, that was a bit right there. Alright, and the caption for the image, by the way, says 185 before containment. Alright, SCP-185, let's fucking go, boys. Let's do this. Hope y'all are enjoying so far. We're halfway there, living on the prayer. Item number 185, object class safe. Euclid class considered after Incident 185-1. See document 185-1 for details. Special containment procedures. 185 is to be kept in a soundproof room with noise-filtering microphones for monitoring purposes. Standard guard procedures are to be used for this object. Ear protection must be worn by all occupants in the chamber, excluding test subjects. Description 105... Sorry, I'm seeing 105 down here. I'm misreading. Description 185 appears to be a Russian R-105M radio used during the Cold War, except that it has a crudely added keypad and LCD screen. The object can receive most radio transmissions, including encrypted signals. Attempts to determine how it can break even the strongest of encryptions have so far been fruitless. 185 has a very long range, surpassing even modern radio equipment. 185 has a very long range, surpassing even modern radio equipment. It functions as a normal radio until input is added via the keypad. It seems that if a year is entered into the keypad, the radio will receive transmissions from the specified era, depending on if messages were being broadcast on the set frequency. This function was discovered when, upon entering the random number 1939, Neville Chamberlain was heard declaring war on Germany. The possibility of experimenting with dates and times has been noted and is being researched. The possibility of entering future dates is being discussed. It has yet to be decided whether the benefits outweigh the risk of causing a time paradox. True. I was right about many things with this. On the inside, the radio appears to be unaltered, and the keypad is contained in a box affixed to the side of the radio. Researchers cannot access the keypad due to the box being made from a metal that is yet to be identified. It cannot be cut, and there are no determinable ways to disassemble it. Addendum. Document number 185-1, Incident 1. During a test, the year was set to Scientists, what are you doing? During a test, the year was set to negative 13.73 billion, during the time the universe was suspected to have been created. Sound volumes emitted by the object could not be measured with standard equipment. Survivors further from the incident reported rumbling sounds similar to recorded radio emissions from the sun. All those within 200 meters of the epicenter died of asphyxiation. Sound waves had ruptured capillaries in the lungs. Autopsy reports indicate that the victims essentially drowned in their own blood. The device failed to operate for some time after that incident, and it was found that the device's internal battery pack had failed. Replacing it restored functionality. It was noted that the LCD screen was still lit, suggesting that the device has no special power aside from the anomalous box. The sound waves have also rendered SCP triple blank inoperable, leading to the reclassification of said SCP as neutralized. The radio seems to have received no damage. Structural damages have been reported on site, and a section had to be shut down for repairs. Testing has been postponed until further notice. Dr. Blank. Any personnel caught using the object to listen to music on duty will be disciplined. Object request. Mobile Task Force Delta 5 is requesting to use 185 to aid their mission of tracking down objects before arrivals. Task Force believes Iranians have important information and wish to intercept their transmissions. Request accepted. Acoustic, electronic, indestructible, safe, temporal, transmission. This thing's made of Nintendium. It's a fucking time travel radio. What more do you want to know about it? And now I have the thumbnail for the VOD as well. Thank fuck. I don't know, I just feel weird reusing thumbnails. We had that problem with the last episode. Thankfully, I was able to use a cartoony thing, which included not only 173, not copyright, but also, 50 or whatever the Plague Doctor is, 49, a bunch of other shit, so, yeah. I think also the Talking Dog Bro or whatever. How big is this one? Holy shit. How fucking big are you? How big are you? This song, every time this song comes on, I'm like, oh, here we fucking go again. Here we fucking go again. Yeah, alright, let's check this one out, 186. Again, I hope y'all are enjoying tonight, and it feels good to at least return to reading the SCP Foundation Wiki. It's hard to get back into the swing of things, but we'll get there. Hey, at least I got a lot of time on my hands now for this. I'm not rushing, is what I'm saying. Item number 186, Object Class Euclid, Special Containment Procedures. The site of 186, comprising an approximately 300 kilometers squared area, is to be closed to the public during is to be closed to the public under the auspices of a habitat restoration initiative for the European bison. An automated security perimeter is to be established, monitored by staff at remote site 355. Security personnel must patrol 186 every 2 weeks. Any anomalous phenomena observed within the security perimeter must be documented and reported to the research director. All known primary sources documenting the events of 186 have been secured by the Foundation. These materials are to be stored in the Site-23 archives. Due to the age of the materials and the potential for deterioration, all access to these documents must be approved by the Site-23 archivist and handled per their instructions. All instances of 186-1 are to be secured in the munitions wing of Site-23. Description: 186 is the site of an unrecorded military engagement occurring from 7/24/1917 to 8/13/1917 between elements of the Imperial German Army and forces of the Russian Provisional Government as part of the larger conflict of World War I and the continuing effects resulting from its aftermath. The conflict came to be known to its participants as the Battle of the Husiatin Woods in surviving accounts. In July of 1917, an armed engagement between a detachment of approximately 500 German soldiers and the remnants of a German division scattered during the... In July of 1917, an armed engagement between a detachment of approximately 500 German soldiers and the remnants of a Russian division scattered during the German counterattack to the Kerensky offensive took place at the location of 186. The forces met in heavily forested terrain outside the town of Husiatin in what is currently Ternopil Oblast, Ukraine. On both sides of the conflict, combatants deployed anomalous weaponry using... Excuse me. The forces met in heavily forested terrain outside the town of Husiatin in what is currently Ternopil Oblast, Ukraine. On both sides of the conflict, combatants deployed anomalous weaponry utilizing technology that has yet to be duplicated or understood at present. This battle eventually resulted in the deaths or permanent incapacitation of all forces involved, and approximately 300 civilians in its general vicinity. 186-1 consists of recovered weaponry dating from the initial containment of 186 in 1917 and includes the following. A highly modified weapon resembling the Skoda M1909 machine gun, capable of causing extremely rapid tumor-like growths to appear within the body of any organism larger than a common lab rat. Mortar shells specially designed to be fired from a mortier de Mortar shells specially designed to be fired from a mortier de 58mm Type 2, containing a gas that causes animal cells to become unable to cease life function. Concertina wire-coated with an unknown hallucinogenic compound that permanently affects human test subjects upon entering the bloodstream. Remnants of an unknown incendiary device believed to have been detonated at the close of the conflict, accounting for what is estimated to be 34% of total casualties. British Empire issue number 27 type grenades, containing a gas capable of passing through all tested gas mask filtration systems and causing humans to constantly experience the sensation of being on fire. 8x50mm IR... What? Okay, I'm just looking at this weird. 8x50mm R French rifle cartridges containing powdered human bone instead of gunpowder, purpose unknown. Historical records indicate that the German detachment involved in the Battle of Husiatin Woods, at the behest of a Hungarian military advisor named Matthias Nemes, specifically pursued the group of Russian forces in retreat, which at the time included French scientist Dr. Jean Durand. Based on the documents of the era since suppressed by the Foundation, it is believed that these two individuals are responsible for the development and limited manufacture of 1861, and had attached themselves to opposing sides of the Eastern Front for the express purpose of deployment of these weapons in a combat setting. It sounds like Foundation Time Lords. Research Log 1867. Access granted. Research Log 1867. Notable anomalies documented at 186. 04/11/1923, a 3 km² area in the southwestern portion of 186 experiences a spontaneous die-off of trees. Decomposition occurs on an extremely accelerated timescale, and the area is completely cleared of trees and other plant life within 2 weeks. 01/13/1927. Despite temperatures consistently at -15 degrees Celsius, no snow is visible throughout central portion of site. Temperatures measured at site are consistent with surroundings. 09/02/1932. The sounds of sporadic gunfire are recorded throughout the site, despite lack of observed presence of any civilians. Sounds persist for 3 days. 05/30/1936. Agents Chekhov and Blank fail to return from routine patrol of 186. No subsequent traces of either person are ever recovered. 05/15/1941. Acting in accordance with intelligence sources embedded in the Third Reich, Foundation personnel evacuate 186 in advance of Operation Barbossa. Subsequent to decommissioning observation posts, faint glow visible from 150 meters documented by staff to move through site. Definitive visual contact unestablished prior to evacuation. 10/29/1945. Containment of 186 re-established after discussions with Soviet Union officials. Upon initial patrol after re-establishment of containment, 13 corpses dressed in uniforms and insignia of the German 4th Panzer Army and 27 corpses in Soviet 22nd Army uniforms are discovered in advanced state of decay. No identifications of personnel are successful, as all identifying documents and insignia had been removed prior to Foundation containment. Okay, fucking odd. 02/19/1959. Following the formation of a large sinkhole in the northeastern portion of 186, 4 men are observed wandering the immediate area in a state of extreme disorientation, dressed in what are later identified to be severely decomposed and degraded World War I era military uniforms of both German Empire and Russian issue. Subjects detained and routed to Site 23 for subsequent research. Sounds like some time travel shit. 04/02/1959. After an extensive excavation of the site of the northeastern sinkhole, 23 persons are discovered buried at a depth of 15 meters in a mass grave, alive despite decades of internment and various wounds and injuries. Interment? Whatever. As with subjects discovered earlier, most are dressed in remnants of military uniforms of the World War I era and are presumed to be participants in the original SCP-186 event. Extensive research at Site-23 yields little information, as subjects are unable to provide any meaningful information or communication to Foundation staff due to extensive psychological trauma and profound mental disorders. Foundation staff attempt to euthanize subjects after 3 weeks of research, but fail in all attempts. Subjects subsequently tranquilized, anesthetized, and incinerated. So they were basically like semi-immortal a little bit for a while there. 07/29/1962. Prior to upgrades to containment facilities, security perimeter of 186 found to be almost 85 meters longer than originally documented. Inquiry later rules out clerical error as source of discrepancy. It Bren, he literate. He read. That's right. It's fucking reading time. Get your fucking snug blankies out. Get your sippy cups. Get your fucking nice warm beverages or cold drinks. Get your fucking crackers and cookies. It's time for spooky SCP reading. We're almost done with 186, or I guess I should say probably halfway done, because we got a bit more to read here, but anyway. Hey, welcome, glad to see you pop in, Zan. 12/13/1975. Localized weather phenomena documented as occurring entirely and exclusively within 186. These include sustained winds up to 120 kilometers per hour, 20 centimeters of rainfall, and temperatures temporarily reaching 48 degrees Celsius. 08/12/1987. Packs of wolves, numbering an estimated 200 total individuals, travel to 186, mass at a point in the central region of this site, and immediately disperse. 03/03/2009. A stand of 3 spruce trees is observed in the southwestern deforested area, the first documented plant life since 1923 event. Estimated age of trees is 50 years. Someone came by with a geck and fucking planted trees in this apocalypse zone. I've got my cold beverage, warm blankie, a cookie, my sippy cup, and all my other listed items. Bring your list of dedicated things to have in the stream, and also bring the things on the list, goddammit. Well, I hope you're having a fantastic evening, or morning, or day, or noon, or lunch, dinner, brunch, or Dunschliner, if you will. Transcripts of selected SCP-186 documents. Access granted. Document 1863, a flyer advertising a May 1911 lecture given by Dr. Durand to the Royal Institute of Chemistry. Bren stream list. Oh, there's too many things to bring every fucking time, I swear, bro. I swear. A gigantic love seat that I gotta squeeze in the door that barely fits, that I gotta fucking manually kick off the legs to so it'll fit through the door. A Hello Kitty wall scroll where she's in the kimono and she has a fan and there's fireworks in the background. A literal chest. A treasure chest. That's right. And many other Bren things. Bren, your first merch should be an official Bren sippy cup that says fuck you on it. Fuck you spelled F-U-K-U. That is fucking golden. If anybody wants that, I could set up a store, and I would totally do that. Especially the fuck you part. Just the way that's spelled, all in lowercase. God, I fucking love that. That is so me. Get your Bren limited edition sippy cup. Yeah, maybe I'll sell it on Redbubble or outsource it or something. To end all wars. A presentation by visiting scholar Dr. Jean Durand, formerly of the Académie des Sciences, on the promise of modern science to create weapons of such terrible deterrent power so as to render future wars obsolete. Haven't we heard of this already in fucking Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker playthrough? Dr. Durand shall explain the convergence of chemistry, ballistics, alienism, and other emerging scientific fields of endeavor that will enable mankind to usher in a new age of peace and modernity. To be given on the 19th of May, Derbyshire Lecture Hall. So this fucking, like, God philosopher basically was like, hey, we're gonna end all wars, and then he caused a fucking XK class reality restructuring scenario, huh? Is that what happened? Document 18611, opinion piece published in the January 2nd, 1912 edition of the Hungarian newspaper Nepsava, authored by Matthias Nemes. To my fellow subjects of His Highness Emperor Franz Joseph, truly the greatest of human glories is the unification of a numerous and disparate people into a single unstoppable purpose. That our marvelous kingdom should embody this inescapable principle should go without saying from Vienna to Budapest. But there are those, both within our territories and elsewhere on the continent, that would see us splintered into 1,000 shards and stand in the way of our destiny. What is to be done with such agitators and malcontents? While traitors and radicals are hung properly in the manner of the dogs that they are, there is no execution sufficient to quell the embers of treachery that burn in the hearts of the Balkanites. How are we to demonstrate our unity of purpose, our power, our God-given place at the head of the European procession? By the force of arms, the hangman can only strike fear into the heart of dozens. A proper army can strike it into the souls of millions. Perhaps we have the numbers, but in this we are not alone. The Russian and the Moslem can rally hordes to their banners, but for all their masses are more... The Russian and the Moslem can rally hordes to their banners, but for all of their masses are mere unruly nuisances. What sets man apart from the animals is not his numerical superiority, no, but his superiority of mind, demonstrated through quick wit and artifice. Quite philosophical, as I predicted. My fellow subjects, I have dedicated my life to the construction of such demonstrations of artifice that none may stand against my weapons save the Almighty. It is through the force of superior arms that we will achieve our grand design, both within our borders and without. Give me the factories, give me the manpower, give me the chance to serve our empire through my industries, and I will deliver to the people the flaming sword that will light the way to the civilized Europe. And I will deliver to the people the flaming sword that will light the way to a civilized Europe. It is through these means, and only these means, that we will solve the questions that plague us today. It's the concept of the God King philosopher, and that's probably what caused this scenario to happen. Document 18632, telegram sent by Jean Durand to Matthias Nemes from Paris, April 28, 1912. Have considered your proposal, must decline. Methods inferior and derivative of own research. Your aims are of conquest, mine are of peace. Regards, J. Durand. Document 18639, undated memorandum from General Felix Graf von Bothmer of the Imperial German Army to unnamed subordinates. Effective immediately, Lieutenant Nemes is assigned to your unit as an advisor. Experimental armaments are only to be deployed on Lieutenant Nemes's orders. Despite potential for a breakthrough on the Romanian front, unwise to use these ungodly things until more is known of their efficacy. Rumors of similar developments among the Tsarists remain unsubstantiated. So it's kind of like a arms race. Back in World War I and onward, there's a temporal arms race that just continues to occur here, basically, because of this philosophical edict that was declared, basically. Document 18652, letter from Private Pyotr Avkhov, participant in the Battle of Husyatin Woods. Dearest Nadia, I have heard rumors of the madness happening at home. Be comforted that it is nothing like the madness that is happening here. We thought that 4 years of war had taught us everything we had to know, and then more. We learned nothing. The damnable Frenchman that the men elected to lead them spoke of peace. He spoke of weapons so terrible that we could make the enemy surrender on the spot. We were fools. We had run at trenches with dead men's rifles and sticks in our hands. We believed him the way we believed anyone that has supplies. We never thought where this man came from. We didn't wonder why he had the weapons he did. We didn't care. We wanted to live. We never considered that the enemy had the same things we did. I do not think the Frenchman did either, or at least I hope he did not. I cannot imagine any man who would walk into this knowing what would happen. Maybe the Frenchman is not a man. Maybe he's something else. Yeah, this sounds like time travel fuckery. I am sitting now in a hole I have dug in a forest somewhere. I should have run the second I saw the German take aim at Gilyov. There was no bullet fired at him. I could not look anymore after his face came apart and he was still screaming. I thought I saw hands pulling his head apart. Somewhere in the distance, Volokov is screaming that he can see devils roasting his children. He's been screaming about the same thing for 5 days. I should have run away so many times. The Frenchman gave us a new gas weapon. We refused at first, remembering what had happened in Romania. But he promised us that this was different. That this would put our enemies down without harming them. Who wants any more bloodshed, he asked us. We could not argue with that. We fired mortars at a position ahead of us. A strange blue gas seeped from behind the trees, but the Frenchman cautioned us against advancing. One more thing, he said. He took one of our rifles and taking aim took a single shot. Before we could ask what a scientist could know of shooting, we heard a scream. He had hit one of the Germans. He handed me a pair of field glasses. Take a look, he said. I saw the German missing half of his head, still screaming. I have seen everything in this war, but I have never seen faces like those of that German fellows as they watched their comrade. The Frenchman, in his terrible calm voice, explained that his shot had to have destroyed at least a quarter of the soldier's brain tissue. Enough to cause instant death, he said, but watch. I kept watching through the field glasses. The German didn't stop screaming. At least 10 minutes I watched, unable to move away. The Frenchman smiled. He smiled at this scene. The gas, he said, ensured that death would not come, regardless of injury. The Germans were too horrified by their comrade to notice that they were not behind cover, and the Frenchman lined up another shot. The rest of the soldier's head was now gone, and the screaming was replaced by some sort of low grunting, the likes of which I have never heard from men. No, the Frenchman said, no harm at all. I have bestowed the gift of life on your opponents. Who could possibly stand against that, he asked. I had to leave and vomit behind some bushes. I had not done that since the first trenches. Who indeed could keep fighting after such a thing, but fight they did. Once a group of us were ambushed and chased into a meadow. The first men through the trees were hit with something that took their skin. I cannot describe why seeing men blown apart is not as frightening as seeing a neatly flayed corpse on a battlefield, but our group scattered. We are no longer armies, not anymore. We are animals, trapped in a forest together, uncomprehending. Sometimes when Volokov sleeps, I hear the Frenchman in the woods, yelling in Hungarian, yelling and laughing. I could almost rather listen to Volokov. I am going to die in this hole. I am too scared of what is outside of it to do otherwise. Minkin is going to try to brave the horrors in the woods to escape. I am sending this letter with him in the hopes that he does. As I gave it to him, he joked that he will get a civil service commission after the war for delivering a letter from hell. I am not certain he is wrong. Goodbye, Pyotr. Euclid featured historical location military weapon. That one was fan-fucking-tastic. I am not really a gigantic, huge history nerd buff at all. But that one hit the certain tingle with the Haagen-Dazs. You know what I'm saying? That was like That was a fucking 11 out of 10 banger. I was very surprised at all of the historical references, and it reminded me of another one with, like, you know, future weapons and secret warfare and stuff, but it wasn't that one. Whew. Man, that was a journey. Holy fuck. Alright, here's 187. Let's move on sequentially. We're almost done for the night. I feel like this one's going a little longer, but that's okay. Man, that one was an adrenaline rush. Holy fucking shit. Whoo, buddy. Holy fuck. Alright, let's move on. 187. Item number 187. Object class safe. This music, by the way, it's so cheery. It's from Evolution. Special containment procedure. 187 is to be attended full-time by medical personnel who are to tranquilize or sedate her as needed. She is to be kept under a full set of medical restraints She is to be kept under a full set of medical She is to be kept under a full set of medical restraints to prevent her from harming herself. Specifically, she is to wear padded mittens at all times, in order to prevent her from attempting to damage her own eyes. If 187 refuses to open her eyes during authorized testing, or during site inspections, the use of eyelid speculums is authorized. All statements made by 187 during testing and site inspections are to be recorded and analyzed. 187 is to be prevented from interacting with D-Class personnel who are nearing the end of their cycle. Ugh. Why does the Foundation regularly kill D-Class? Come on, you just like send them into a room? Or you just outright kill them? They go to an experiment or you just gun them down after 30 days? Holy fuck. 187 is to be spoon-fed. Mild tranquilizers are to be added to all her meals. Description: 187 is a Caucasian female, early to mid-20s, 180 centimeters tall, weighing 40 kilograms, parentheses, approximately 88 I was gonna say labs. God, what am I, back in 3rd grade? Excuse me, teacher, isn't it pronounced labs? Yes, Brendan, technically, but it's pounds, you fucking idiot. Jesus, that was a trip back in time. I just time traveled, holy fuck. Description: 187 is a Caucasian female, early to mid-20s, 180 centimeters tall, weighing 40 kilograms, parentheses, approximately 88 pounds, unparentheses. I don't know why I said unparentheses. Strike through: she is suffering from severe malnutrition and must be fed intravenously as she refuses to eat any food given to her on strike through. She is recovering from the effects of severe malnutrition. Excuse me again if my scrolling is a little off today. I just need to work with the virtual super resolution, because right now I'm stuck in 720p, so I just gotta put it back in 1080p at some point. But I'll fix it in the future, don't worry about it. I'm just glad to be back streaming, you know? We took hiatus, and I'm back after a month and a half, finally doing some more SCP Wiki, dude. It's fucking creepy, scary, and also interesting. 187 exhibits a unique form of precognition whereby she sees everything in 2 states simultaneously, as they are and as they will be. She does not see minor changes, only changes to what would be considered the norm. For example, in testing, when presented with 5 D-Class personnel and asked which of them would change their clothes, she couldn't answer, as such a change isn't drastic enough. However, when presented with 5 D-Class personnel and asked which would be shot, she was able to predict which one every time, as she could see the injury inflicted just by looking at him. They all have to be male? 187 cannot foresee future events or changes to items at which she is not currently looking. Rather, she can see the future state of whatever she is looking at. This has led to some unexpected consequences. For example, as part of the usual tests performed on new human/humanoid SCP acquisitions, 187 was given a standardized IQ test. When the results were collated, she was revealed to have an IQ in excess of 300, parentheses, the limits of the tests. This, of course, would have made her the most intelligent human being on the planet. However, her intellect did not seem that high based on her initial interviews. The test was repeated 4 times, and each time she got the maximum possible score, answering every question correctly. When she was interviewed regarding this, she revealed that she did not actually know the answers to any of the questions. Rather, she had seen the tests with the answers already filled in. When she was given a computerized IQ test where her input didn't affect the future state of where her input didn't affect the future state of where she entered the answers, parentheses, a keyboard rather than a pen and paper, her IQ was revealed to be 97, slightly below average. This happens with every written test presented to 187. She can see the answers in advance based on what she herself is going to fill in. Even if the tests are in a foreign language she does not understand. This presents a possible ontological paradox. Scrolling. This presents a possible ontological paradox, an injection into the present of information from the future. Where this information, the correct answers, comes from is unknown and possibly unknowable. 187 is suffering from ongoing psychological damage as a result of her anomaly. When, for instance, she is in the company of people who are soon to die, she simultaneously sees both their living, healthy selves and their dead, sometimes decomposing corpses, depending on how far into the future they will die. As a result, pharmacological assistance is required to keep her lucid. That is fucking horrible. Strike through. 187 also refuses to eat, again due to her abilities. When presented with a plate of food, she will see it as either feces or a semi-digested slop, while a glass of water will appear as a glass of urine. This is what is causing her severe malnutrition, and for this reason she must be fed and hydrated intravenously on strike-through. Oh, that's good that the eating problem is getting fixed. Due to the effect that prolonged malnutrition is having on 187's health, and the impact that 187's death would have on the Foundation's medium-term emergency planning, 187 is to be blindfolded during meals. Mealtimes are to last no longer than 15 minutes, and must take place in a location for which 187 has not predicted any significant changes. Okay, quite in line with like double-blind experimentation, but alright. A very scientific method. Remarks and comments made by 187 which turned out to be prophecies. The divorce of Dr. Blank. 187, your ring. Dr. Blank, my ring? 187, yes, your wedding ring. Doctor, what about it? 187, you're not wearing it. Doctor, I am, look, it's right there. 187, you won't be. Dr. Blank's husband filed for divorce the next day. When she returned for duty, she was no longer wearing her wedding ring. She had been married for 19 years, more than half her life, so wearing the ring was considered normal, and not wearing the ring was enough of an abnormality for 187 to see it. The deaths of the following D-Class personnel. D16124. 187. Why is he so swollen? D16124 was later exposed to the vacuum of space after being sent through 120 in order to dial it to the next destination. So if you don't know which one that is, it's the Stargate pool toy, basically. It's a little pool floaty, and it dials the different Stargates in both space and also safe locations on Earth. God, that's silly. That is so silly that one's referenced. I love that. D16198. 187, he is cute. Interviewer, who? The man standing outside that cell? 187, yes, what's his name? Interviewer, I don't know. Hey, you there. D16198 turned to face them, at which point 187 gasped and burst into tears, screaming, "He's gonna die." Interviewer, "He will? How do you know?" 187, "He's got a massive hole in the left-hand side of his head." D16198 was later terminated by gunfire while attempting to escape the site. He may have attempted to escape due to 187 screaming, implying that she can set so-called self-fulfilling prophecies in motion. Well, that's fucking terrifying. Anything she says is basically a prophecy anyway. That's fucked. D16206. 187, his legs, his legs, his legs, his legs, his legs, his legs! Where are his fucking legs? Sorry if that was really loud, but, you know, in character. D16206 was killed when SCP triple blank escaped from its cell and bit him in half while attempting to flee the site. Okay. Fuck. Well, she's been subjected to quite a bit of trauma, it appears. The attempted escape of SCP triple blank. While being escorted through site to double blank, 187 stopped outside SCP triple blank's cell, staring intently. Dr. Klein, what are you looking at? 187, how did it break through such a heavy door? Dr. Klein, excuse me? 187, that door is nearly a foot thick. How did it manage to destroy it? So we have a named scientist making appearance here, and he's like, but excuse me? What the fuck did you say? 17 hours later, SCP triple blank somehow managed to work free of its restraints, and did indeed tear through the door to its cell. However, Dr. Klein had alerted security due to 187's statements, so an armed response team was ready and managed to subdue triple blank with gunfire. I don't know why I was going to say 187. So an armed response team was ready and managed to subdue triple blank with gunfire. The cost of keeping a full-time medical team on hand to ensure 187's well-being is obviously high. However, the fact that her anomaly allowed the prevention of an escape attempt by SCP triple blank, a Keter-class subject, shows that she may be useful for more than just pure research. A proposal has been submitted to introduce her to seemingly indestructible SCPs in the hopes that she will see them as either dead or destroyed, and will be able to describe the manner of death/destruction. This proposal is pending. The potential temporal logistics would need careful consideration. She would in effect be seeing methods of destruction/termination which would only be possible because she saw them. This has caused concern among several higher members of staff. Yeah, it would run on the time frame of when she sees this. We will now have a time frame of when it is exploded, basically. So they need careful consideration on what subjects they detonate, basically, and when they do it. You can't just give her to 682, because 682 is going to rampage and eat the entire universe. Details of further experimentation may be found in Experiment Log 1871. Alive, humanoid, predictive, safe, sapient, sentient, visual. Quite interesting. Here's 1871, by the way, which links to 139 ARC? Oh no. Oh no, this is a meta profile. This one's gonna have so many interlocking parts. Yup. I'm not gonna fucking bother with this. If you want to pause, read it yourself. There's one for 173! Oh no. 187 produced a sustained scream for 1 minute, 38 seconds before losing consciousness and falling to the ground. 187 had to be physically removed and maintained a state of catatonia for 48 hours. 187 regained consciousness but was unable to remember what she had seen and remained in mild shock for several days. She saw 173 traveling through the, entirety of space-time or some shit. She saw that thing existing for all fucking eternity. And it fucking scared her. So here's 188. It looks like a butterfly. The description for the image. An example of the effect of SCP-188. And if we zoom into the image... Come on, keyboard. It does appear to be a butterfly. Fly. Like a butterfly. It looks like a butterfly or a moth or some other flying insect. Made of cloth? Or perhaps, to go to the anomalous side, maybe carbon nanotubes or gold filament, or maybe just some subatomic metal structure. Definitely looks like an insect. It could even just be like wool or cloth. But it's like a golden, brownish, yellowish, silvery yellow gold. It's very light looking in color. The light appears from the top left of the photo. There's a little bit of a shadow cast on the right side. It kind of looks like a bumblebee a bit as well. But it's definitely made of this cloth or, you know, carbon nanotube or gold nanotube or whatever compound. And it's just on a tan or pink background. Nothing too else to describe or anomalous about it. Okay, 188. Item number 188, object class safe. Special containment procedures. As 188 poses no direct threat to any Foundation assets, 188 is to be contained in storage unit J6455. Its presence is to be noted during the bi-weekly survey of site assets. During this time, any environmental effects exerted by 188 are to be reversed. Description: 188 is a volume of iridium metal hosting an effect that acts on a finite region around the object. Who was right about it being like a metal? 188 is a volume of iridium metal hosting an effect that acts on a finite region around the object. With the exception of the regional effect, 188 is, chemically and physically, an otherwise unremarkable sample of iridium metal. 188 has a mass of 181.43 grams and has been cast as a cylinder with a radius of 1 centimeter and a length of 2.56 centimeter. 188's current cylindrical shape is not its original form, but one convenient for experimental manipulation and storage. The regional effect of 188 induces changes in the environment. The changes take the form of discrete manipulations, such as scratches on surfaces or grouping and shaping of ambient material such as dust. These changes emerge over time and are widespread over the entire region of the effect. The changes show a high degree of complexity and structure, and have been seen to change with time. Further, the effect extends to all scales, and has included exceptionally small and intricate structures. When initially contained by the Foundation, 188 consistently induced fractal motifs. Since containment, this has increasingly shifted to include spiral and flow motifs. Biological forms have emerged as a rare but consistent theme. So yeah, it's like aggregate metal nanotube machine, I guess, that operates on some form of intelligence and also environment and aggregate structuralness. This thing would go great with 174 or 184. They create some fucking crazy ass structure together. As the environment around it is manipulated, 188's regional effect will extend outward. Testing has shown that this region will only extend outward to a volume encompassing an area of roughly 4,000 meters squared, or flux meters squared, depending on what math system you look at that. Attempts to nullify 188's effect have included placement in a Faraday cage, placement in a radiation containment device, powdering and melting 188. None of these attempts have diminished the regional effect in any way. Current proposals to vaporize 188 and recondense small portions of the vapor are being explored. So maybe just a way to explore this metamaterial metal or something. Who knows, maybe it's like a type of nanomachine or something. This could be useful. 188 first came to the attentions of a predecessor body to the Foundation on 188 first came to the attentions of a predecessor body to the Foundation on ///1920 located at the rural Indiana properties of blank blank. So something before the Foundation resulted in this. After a thorough search, the object was found as a spike, partially submerged in the ground, and appeared to be in the process of reshaping. After a thorough search, the object was found as a spike, partially submerged in the ground, and appeared to be in the process of reshaping the local wheat crop through braiding together and flattening of stalks. No clear pattern had emerged at time of acquisition, though the effect had begun to extend over many meters. Though records are incomplete, it is known that efforts to contain the effect of the object failed. Embedding in bulk materials such as concrete or lead did not diminish the initial size of the region of the effect acted over. Further, these attempts ended with the object carving apart the containment sheath. The Foundation has evidence that more esoteric proposals were suggested, such as encasement in diamond. No evidence exists that these technologically sophisticated and resource-intensive proposals were followed up on. Well, it could be quite the experiment. I mean, this thing seems to have a meta property of patterning things. Even if they have some hard material structure to them, if embedded in them, it might still do something. When this parent organization was folded into the Foundation, the object and any existing records were inherited and placed under the 188 classification. When the crop circle fad emerged, efforts were taken to determine if there was a connection between the crop circle makers and the effects caused by 188. Investigation showed no connection between the superficial, and it is the opinion of the O5s that the similarity is a coincidence. So maybe this thing just naturally created something similar looking to a crop circle, just because it was in a field of wheat or something. Proposals to explore or to illustrate any statistical consistency in the effect 188 has upon its environment are being accepted and evaluated. At this time, due to the lack of inherent danger posed by 188 in its current containment, proposals requiring extreme measures or contact with other SCPs are not encouraged. So I have a feeling this thing has a strong capacity to adapt to its environment. So if you surrounded this thing with like a substrate-like computing mechanism, it would probably morph into basically like fucking neuron DNA-like structures and aggregate into computing patterns. So I feel like this is a concept I wanted to write about in one of my side novels I've been typing up. Very interesting. I've never read this one before, so. Artistic, autonomous, mathematical, metallic, safe, telekinetic. Alright, let's move on to 189. And then we're reading 190 as well tonight, right? I don't know, I can't fucking look. I'm in 720p, half of OBS is taken up. Playing Minecraft with shaders and this shit is epic? You're telling me, dude, it's so fun. If I had a stronger PC, I would definitely play it with shaders whenever I return to randomizer. One block, skyblock, randomizer, and regular. But we'll see. As is, it barely runs at like 30 FPS, it seems. Alright, here's 189. Item number 189, Object Class Safe Special Containment Procedures. Samples of 189 are to be stored in cryo-containment facility double blank, with any surplus destroyed by incineration. Test subjects infected with 189 are to be kept in a sealed containment chamber with an airlock that includes a chemical shower. Personnel interacting with test subjects must wear standard NBC hazard suits throughout their time inside the containment chamber and submit to a chemical shower before exiting the airlock on their way out. When test subjects expire or are terminated, their remains must be sealed in an airtight container or body bag, which is subjected to the same chemical shower as the personnel carrying it out of the containment chamber and disposed of by incineration. So this is like some fucking chemical or radiation hazard or something. We shall see. Staff members found to be infested with 189 are to be quarantined according to the procedure outlined above for test subjects and treated with anti-parasitic agent 189A. See document 189-blank. See document 189. 189 infestation is discovered on any individual or animal at a facility. All personnel and animals at that facility are to be inspected for the presence of 189 as detailed in Procedure 189 blank. Procedure 189 single blank, that is. Any staff members treated as described above, any D-class and or non-SCP animals terminated and incinerated, and the facility subjected to a thorough cleaning and the facility subjected to a thorough cleaning with anti-parasitic agent 189A. Should any cases of 189 infestation be confirmed in person, should any cases of 189 infestation be confirmed in persons or animals outside the Foundation, all those affected are to be immediately taken into custody and quarantined. Animals should be euthanized and incinerated, while humans are to be treated with anti-parasitic agent 189A for the infestation, then administered Class C or Class B amnestics. Any individuals who may have been in close contact with the infectees and or entered their personal vehicle or place of residence should be checked for 189 infestation and treated if necessary. Refer to document 189 single blank for suitable cover stories. So this thing is dangerously contagious. Good to know, I guess. 189 is a species, description. 189 is a species of parasitic roundworm, parentheses, tentative taxonomic classification data expunged, capable of infesting any mammalian life form. Infection most commonly occurs as a result of direct skin contact with one or more egg sacs. These egg sacs are covered with microscopic hooks, similar to those on the cuticles of some species of nematode, which anchor the sacs to the skin surface. Contact with sebum then prompts the eggs inside the hatch, at which time the larvae seek out and burrow into one or more nearby hair follicles. Well, this thing is remarkably efficient. You only need to attach to the outside extremities and it has an entry point. Once inside the follicle, the larva attaches itself to the base of the papilla and begins feeding off the capillaries supplying the papilla. Over the course of 2 to 3 days, the larva grows larger and develops into an adult. When it has fully matured, the new adult detaches from the papilla, severs the hair fiber from the root, and almost fully envelops the papilla and hair matrix. From this point forward, the worm feeds on the cells shed by the hair matrix, parentheses which would normally form the hair fiber, and begins to grow longer. So it sort of takes over the hair's region on the skull, or, where whatever hair infection site that it attaches to. Adult 189 specimens grow only in length, extruding a tail, which incorporates some of the pigments and keratin from the cells they consume into an outer cuticle. So they sort of almost devour hair a little bit too and become part of it. This, combined with the fact that the diameter of a specimen's tail is usually similar to that of the hair that would normally grow from the host follicle, causes 189 to be visually indistinguishable from normal hair, except upon microscopic inspection. However, some specimens will occasionally flex, coil, and uncoil, and/or lash their tail, particularly in response to tactile stimulation. The reason for this behavior is not currently understood, nor is why only some individuals behave in this fashion, though it has been proposed that data expunged. It's probably just a self-defense mechanism or something. Or maybe it causes some of them to propagate further. Who knows? As with many other species of roundworms, 189 is hermaphroditic, with both sets of genitalia contained in the head, parentheses, the portion enveloping the papilla and hair matrix. Fertilized eggs are produced in groups of 1 to 3 and enveloped in a protective egg sac, which is then incorporated into the growing tail. Egg sacs grow their microscopic hooks, and the eggs typically mature by the time the portion of the tail containing them has extended approximately 1 millimeter beyond the surface of the host's skin. Once fully developed, the egg sac passes to the exterior of the organism's tail, becoming loosely embedded in its cuticle. At this point, if the egg sac is brought into contact with a suitable host surface, including the skin of the current host, it attaches to this surface and is pulled free from its parent. So it's like propagating hair worm virus almost. This is the primary method 189 uses to both infect new hosts and to further infest the current host. So if you see like a hair man, it might be one of these. It's a man coated in hair of this. The tail of an adult specimen of 189 is no more durable than normal hair, and its head no more strongly attached to the host follicle. The tail can be cut or broken, or the entire organism pulled out, by any method that would similarly affect hair. Severed sections of an adult's tail can grow a new head and regenerate into a separate individual, but only if they can attach to a suitable host. The death of a follicle infested by an adult 189, or any other event that would cause the loss of that follicle's hair, causes the individual to detach from its host. Without a host, adult 189 die within 1 to 6 hours. Mature eggs can remain viable for up to single blank years after the death of their parent, and as such, even dead adults can present a risk of infestation. When an infected host dies, any surviving adult specimens of 189 continue to feed and grow, eventually burrowing into the host's tissues. Once decay begins, however, the specimen is killed by the toxins produced. So it will propagate if something dies with this in it. Just once the body reaches toxoplasmosis or whatever, then the infestation will die off. Addendum 1. 189 was first discovered 19 double blank when Dr. A. blank F. blank, parentheses then unaffiliated with the Foundation, traveled to a remote area of the data-expunged rainforest as part of a 6-month biodiversity survey. Dr. F. blank brought Kara, his 3-year-old pet golden retriever, along with him on the expedition. It seems likely that the dog was first infested sometime during this trip. Regardless of when the infestation began, by the time Dr. F. Blank and Kara returned to the United States, it is believed that over 80% of the animal's follicles had been infested by 189. Approximately double blank days after his return, Dr. F was petting Kara when the dog's fur began to move. Recognizing the abnormal nature of the infestation, Dr. F contacted Dr. I blank W blank, a parasitologist, with an invitation to study the newly discovered organism. That's fucking creepy that they're just treating this like a research paper. It was when Doctors F and W submitted a paper on 189 for publication that the Foundation became aware of its existence and immediately took Doctors F and W into custody and seized all of their research materials. Both doctors were later recruited into the Foundation, with Dr. W becoming the lead researcher in charge of 189, and currently stationed in Data Expunged, investigating indigenous populations of 189 for possible containment or eradication. Since the Foundation first became aware of 189, there have been double blank incidents of infestation outside the Foundation, resulting in triple blank humans and quadruple blank animals confirmed infected in various parts of the world. Continued monitoring is warranted to ensure that such incidents do not come to the attention of the general public. Time to grow out my balding hair. Oh no, I'm dead from fucking hair worms. And I'm gonna infect my grandma. A live invertebrate parasitic safe vermian. I would not say that safe. You turn into a fucking hair man. It completely coats your fucking body in hair, but okay. Hey, we got a meme in the chat. Thanks for the meme. We'll check that out right after we read 190. Welcome, Skeletor, by the way. Glad to see you popping in once again, my dude. We're about to finish up for the night, so yeah, I'll be checking out your meme in just a second. We're gonna read 190 now to finish it off for the night. Like I said, I'm glad to be back. What is this, Dr. Wondertainment or something? 07, I salute you too, my soldier. A figure dressed as a stereotypical ringmaster. This is Herman Fuller Hub. What the fuck? Herman Fuller's Circus of the Disquieting. No. This looks like a Dr. Wondertainment shitpost. No, not tonight. Not tonight. I've had enough of Dr. Wondertainment shit. We've seen one of them already. Yeah, the origin of Bigfoot. That's right. Just a person covered in fucking hair worms. Alright, 190 to finish it off tonight, and then we'll have a meme to end this stream. Item number 190, Object Class Safe, Special Containment Procedures. 190 is kept in Security Locker 23 at Site 41. Children under the age of 10 are not allowed within 50 meters of 190, except under testing conditions. All personnel working at Site 41 are to be made aware of 190's secondary effect and its innocuous nature. Personnel transfer requests made due to 190's secondary effect are to be expedited, unless doing so would violate the special containment procedures for another item. So it's like of utmost importance to obtain employees for this, huh? Okay. All individuals who have directly interacted with 190 are to be monitored indefinitely for long-term side effects. Description: 190 is a carved wooden box, banded with iron, measuring 50 centimeters by 70 centimeters by 35 centimeters. The lid is carved with a representation of a large circus tent with an open central panel, within which stands a figure dressed as a stereotypical ringmaster, which links to that thing I clicked earlier. The carvings on the sides consist of assorted animals typically associated with circuses, including lions, tigers, bears, elephants, and horses. These carvings move at a maximum observed rate of approximately 5 millimeters per day, and time-lapse monitoring indicates that the depicted creatures appear to be acting in a non-violent play behavior with each other. Yet another 2D, 3D SCP object, where it's some organism on a 2D surface existing, just being there. I guess this one's ultra slow though, or something, I don't know. When an individual aged 10 or older opens the hinged lid, 190 contains 17 marbles of assorted size and color, 2 sticks of lightly used green sidewalk chalk, and 1 deck of bicycle brand playing cards. These objects can be manipulated within the confines of 190, but cannot be removed from it. Attempts to remove these objects encounter an otherwise undetectable, impenetrable barrier stretching across the opening to the box. How did I know that that was going to be the answer? Individuals aged 10 or older who interact with 190 or its contents typically report feelings of unease or discomfort until they cease interacting with them. Okay. Weird. When an individual under the age of 10 opens 190, it will contain 1 to 5 toys or games intended for use by children. Observed objects include stuffed animals, rubber balls, yo-yos, dolls, blocks, and simple board games. These objects can be freely removed from 190 by any prepubescent individual, although attempts by pubescent or most post-pubescent encounter the same barrier described above. The objects typically possess a circus theme, depicting a classic circus. Holy fuck! The objects typically possess a circus theme depicting classic circus animals, venues, performers, and design schemes containing red, gold, white stars and or the initials HF. Okay, what the fuck? HF? Have fun? Good luck, have fun? Children in the appropriate age range express great pleasure and excitement when playing with 190 or the objects it produces, regardless of prior attitudes regarding toys or games of that type. Children exhibit more energetic play behaviors than they normally do, as well as more physical activities such as somersaults, cartwheels, climbing nearby objects, and simple 1 and 2 object juggling. Most play behaviors include incidental elements of causing harm to other people, especially those older than themselves. All objects produced by 190 are capable of causing extreme damage, regardless of their composition. Fucking toy hammer caves someone's skull in. Representative samples below. Objects produced by 190 vanish if placed back within it and the lid is closed. Fucking old Matt X0. That is goddamn from Old Mate Blue. It looks like Pepe Laugh, and that's how I feel reading this. The music really fits this too. It's just such a goofy SCP. A very Pepe Laugh SCP. Just like, this thing feels like a prank. Very weird too, because I just got a chest today. Nice kingly chest full of treasures. Fill it with gold doubloons or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. Okay, it's a table. The first entry on the x-axis going towards the y. On the x-axis going from left to right. That is. First category is toy/game. Second category is usage by child, and third category is result. I'm just gonna read them by row. So, you know, if I have a pause, then I'm switching categories. Tomato smile. Hey, Skeletor, if you want to get me an early Christmas birthday present, you know who to gift me a subscription to. Because you know I love those tomato emotes. No, I'm probably going to buy a subscription to him pretty soon, just so I can spam every tomato emote in chat at all times. Skeletor, always the champ in the chat, posting relevant emotes. And I hope this is a relevant meme too, because I'm excited for it. Looks like a dude choking out a fucking bear. Okay, red and white striped rubber ball with a gold star on one end. 8-year-old male bounced against a wall 37 times prior to throwing it at a supervising junior researcher. The wall had noticeable shallow dents where it had been struck. The junior researcher suffered 2 cracked ribs and significant soft tissue bruising where she had been struck. Child expressed disappointment that junior researcher didn't throw the ball back. Holy fuck! You don't know how to feel about the video you linked? Okay, that's even more foreboding. That makes me more excited. Okay, here's the next interaction. Stuffed elephant made of felt, measuring 35 centimeters in height, wearing a red and gold saddle with the initials HF embroidered on the sides. 4-year-old female moved toy as if it were walking. Child making trumpeting noises before making it step on the foot of supervisory D-class. Yeah, and then his foot's gonna cave in, right? D-class's foot suffered multiple complex bone fractures and hemorrhaging consistent with a crush injury. Child chided D-class for getting in the way of the toy. This is the child treasure chest superhero object. It turns any little kid into a superhero as long as they play with the toys in it. See the Big Top, a board game of similar design to the 2004 edition of Candyland. 6-year-old male begged supervisory D-class to play game until D-class was ordered to do so by researchers. Child lost game and threw cards at D-class in anger. D-class suffered deep paper cuts to the face, hands, and forearms requiring multiple bandages. Child hugged D-class after completion of game and asked if she would receive Batman adhesive bandages to make the boo-boos better. Oh, that's so cute. That is so cute. And also fucking horrifying that one wrong tossed card and that D-class's brain would have been sliced in half. Holy fuck. This child is Gambit in training. Gambit from X-Men. Okay, anyway. Tin container labeled Junior Clown Kit, containing 30 grams, parentheses 1 ounce, of clown white grease paint, 2 red jumbo makeup pencils, 2 yellow/gold makeup pencils, small hand mirror. 7-year-old female decorated own face and that of supervisory D-class. D-class suffered mild chemical burns where makeup had made contact with skin and developed persistent allergy to lanolin. Child was unharmed. This is just so wholesome and funny and yet scary as fuck at the same time. Lacquer finished red wooden rod resembling a miniature version of SCP-2024. Okay? 9-year-old female touched various furnishings around the room, including the supervising D-class's arm. D-class's arm tied into a knot. Child commented on D-class's improved physical appearance. You're improved now! I upgraded you by turning your arm into a knot! Oh, fuck! Well, that's horrifying. Please stop exposing kids to weapons of mass destruction! Holy fuck. This research has gone too far. After initial testing ceased following the determination of baseline properties, an additional property became apparent. If 190 and its contents have not been used by a child under the age of 10 for 29.5 consecutive days, faint calliope music will be audible to all individuals within 50 meters of 190. Oh god. This music appears to act as a mild cognitohazard, wherein children under the age of 10 will seek out 190 if they are aware of its existence. You must play with the chest of toys. Long-term monitoring of individuals who interacted with 190 as children reveal that they are approximately 4 times more likely than age peers to become performers once they are adults, either professionally or as a primary hobby. Typical examples include acrobatics, magic/sleight of hand, animal training, and improvisational oratory and acting. Subjects do not otherwise display statistically significant behavioral abnormalities. Well, maybe I interacted with this thing when I was a kid. because I'm here streaming. That's orating, at least. Lots of improv, too. Holy fuck. Half of this shit is improv. Cognito hazard container, ectoentropic, engraved, Herman Fuller, mind-affecting, safe, toy, wooden. And yeah, that's it for our sequential and also random sesh tonight. Let's go ahead and look at 2024 really quick, just in case you're curious. I guess it's like a fucking red rod or something? I don't know. Please call. Okay, fuller than full mixing rod. Who knows? This is probably a Dr. Wondertainment. It's Herman Fuller, okay. Just another thing that's in that fucking silly clown acrobatic SCPs. Fucking clown SCP, basically. So we did Lucky, Ryder, Weaver, the Architect, which we've done before but came back to. The radio, the time travel radio. To End All Wars, that one was fucking crazy. Double Vision, the Craftsman, Hair Imitating Parasite, and a prize toy box. Next time we'll start with Cyborg Child. And yeah, before we head out, let's check out this meme that Skeletor posted in the chat. Always happy to have my homie Skeletor being a dank meme lord. Hype Bigfoot 5! Relevant meme. Alright, let's see what this is. What is this, like, man strangling a fucking bear? And what perfect Mario Paint music. This takes place in Russia. Not Russia, but Russia. Alex Terrible Growl and Bear. What could this possibly be? Holy fuck! Yeah, get him! I don't know who I'm rooting for. Fucking get him! Yeah! Beat the fuck out of him! Who would win? You and your bare fists or a bear? I want to see part 2. What the fuck? What the fuck? What? What? What is happening? What is this? What the fuck is this? What? 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 Is this guy like a bear handler? What the fuck am I witnessing? What? What? What is he? Why? What is happening? What the fuck is happening, Bo? What is this? I don't understand anything anymore. Is this a vlog now? This is Alex Terrible. What? He's a murderer! What? Oh my god, what have I stumbled on? He's a fucking killer, bro. He feeds people to bears. What is happening? This man feeds people to bears. He's got a fucking bloody head in a bucket. What the fuck am I witnessing? Oh my god, he's a murderer! I need part 4. This is the epitome of I wrestled a bear once. What the fuck is going on? What? Why? This is peak performance. If you've ever wondered what it is to be like an alpha male, beta male, sigma male, this is the ascendant existence! This is what it means to be a truly most human person. You are a god among humans, if you are this man. What the fuck? Why are you just playing with bears? Out in Russia. What? Is that like a possum? I think I saw a possum there. Whoa. Is that like a dead possum? What the fuck is that? They just like feeding the bear a turtle and wrestling with it once it's full and not hungry. So okay, here's my theory for this. I think this guy, the dude wrestling the bear, I think this guy is like a death growl guy. He's got the you know, he does like metal screams or whatever, and that's what he's doing to the bear. But I don't fucking know what's happening. I'm struggling to understand what the fuck any of that was. That was insane, dude. Speaking of Sigma male, this is some Sigma star music. So one of the weirder things you found recently, not quite on that weird Spider-Man series of videos. Dude, I was thinking of the speeder earlier. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just go look on the main channel. I'm about to drop the links in the chat anyway. Go check it out. I mean, it's fucking hilarious. It makes absolutely no goddamn sense. The Speeder, the Finito Trilogy, as it's called. But yeah, hey, I want to thank you for popping by, checking me out, streaming some Reading the SCP Foundation Wiki tonight. Entries 181 to 190. Yeah, drop a follow on the Twitch channel if you will, please. I hope you all enjoyed tonight. Go subscribe to the VOD channel, the main edited videos channel. Go follow the Twitter, come join the community Discord. We got some new emotes in there. We'd love to have you as part of the community. And yeah, like I said, thank you very much for dropping by. Hope y'all enjoyed. Be sure to show that support because we're on that road to affiliate. So we've been just recommending a friend to, you know, have me tabbed up for a couple hours on the stream. Anything helps. You know, tell somebody to follow or what have you. Anyway, that's it from me tonight. Thank you again. And I'll see you in the next one, homies. Peace out.